Overcast skies, encased in heavy, gloomy clouds from the spring rain, slowly gave way to Arkansas's morning. Birds timidly chirped from leaf-covered trees, and the familiar white home on the hill sat in strange calm, the ground still damp from the night. For a home that had formerly been bustling with 19 kids and a reality TV crew, the quiet was deafening. By 5 o'clock in the morning, Michelle Duggar was dressed, holding her Bible, preparing breakfast and coffee for her husband Jim Bob, and the sun had always risen before her. She focused her life on order, discipline, and faith after discovering God. In the job schedule, the laundry basket, and every prayer circle, but that morning her chest wasn't feeling quite right. Tightened upon awakening, but it was pressure instead of pain, which she ascribed to stress from worrying excessively about her children's requests. After Jessa called last night, Michelle texted Jill twice, but Jill didn't answer. There were murmurs after Jinger, clad in jeans and without a head covering, uploaded another eerie picture to the internet. Everyone, welcome to Duggar Gossip 24. Remember to please rate this video highly. Like rotten new soil, the escalating rumors about their family, their program, the lawsuits, and the history are coming to the surface. Michelle ignored it all as usual, grinning and humming gently while pouring oats into a pot with robotic fingers. But as the pressure mounted, a faint anguish emanated from her sternum, and she leaned on the counter and staggered. Her fingers slipped and the oatmeal container fell and split, spilling oats across the tile. She gasped as a sharp, burning agony shot through her left side and into her lips. Her legs buckled and her voice caught as she tried to yell out, and the last thing she saw was the edge of the rug curling under the kitchen table. Before everything became dark, there was silence. Instead of exercising in the morning, as she usually does, Johannah made the decision to drop off Gideon and muffins and pay Grandma a little visit. It was strange, but not frightening that she texted ahead of time and received no response. She parked, called out nonchalantly, and went in the side door. There was no response, but we brought muffins. With a toy dinosaur in tow, Gideon went along her and shouted with joy as she arrived. The kitchen Michelle's cardigan bunched beneath her neck, her bare ankles twitched slightly, and her chest crumpled in sharp contrast to her pale complexion. The grain stuck to the blood vessels in her face as she attempted to call 911. In a panic that left her breathless, Joy dropped her phone, grabbed it, and shouted into the receiver, believing she was watching her mother's death. Her voice sounded hoarse, and her hands were cold. Upon their arrival on the kitchen floor, paramedics yelled about defibrillators and sliced Michelle's clothing open. Paralysis of oxygen and blood pressure after a short period, Bob screamed as he pulled into the driveway after Joy had watched Jim. The cardiology unit at Washington Regional served as the new Duggar battleground. Arriving first, Janet took charge, printed the medical release paperwork, packed her overnight bags, and contacted her siblings without crying. He was running toward the lights when Michelle's name was called, but a composed EMT stopped him, held him, and gave him direction while he was doing everything he could to keep her from disappearing inside the ambulance. Occupied something was falling apart beneath her composed voice, even though she had handled chaos all her life. Serene, then Jessica, who hesitated after attempting to pray. Jinger and Jeremy showed their hours later, their eyes sad and their makeup dirty. Jill even showed symptoms of tension, including a drop in barometric pressure, as soon as she got to the hospital. Jana ceased talking to Michelle, and Bob hardly gave her a glance, but she was dying, and old grievances might wait. Josh even seemed quiet and alone, and I stayed away from him as the room got denser and the walls got thinner. He stayed on the edge of the waiting room, where a coma had set in, and studied the Bible in a forced semity. Michelle. According to experts, a widowmaker's heart attack is acute, unexpected, and typically fatal. She barely made it out alive. Go to the hospital. She would either live or die in the following 72 hours. They alternated by her bedside, and every child gazed at the woman's pale face, which had influenced every aspect of their lives. Her hair, which had been flawlessly curled before the hands at her sides braided it and cured fevers, had been matted by sweat. In a shocking turn of events, Michelle Duggar, the matriarch of the Duggar family, has been hospitalized after experiencing serious health issues. Sources close to the family report that Michelle is extremely sick, and early indications suggest that she may have suffered a heart attack. This news has sent waves of concern throughout the Duggar family and their millions of fans who have followed their life and journey on television for years. Michelle's health crisis. Michelle Duggar, known for raising 19 children and being the steady, loving mother at the center of the Duggar family, has always presented an image of vitality and strength. She and her husband, Jim Bob Duggar, have been pillars of their tight-knit family and their conservative community. Michelle's health has always been a topic of concern, given the demands of raising such a large family while maintaining a public presence, especially after years of being in the spotlight on 19 Kids and Counting and its spin-off shows. However, recently, Michelle's health took a frightening turn. Reports indicate that Michelle was rushed to the hospital after experiencing severe chest pains, dizziness, and shortness of breath. Initial assessments have led doctors to believe that Michelle may have suffered a heart attack, though she is still undergoing further tests to understand the full extent of her condition. While details remain sparse, fans are deeply worried for the mother of 19, who has always seemed invincible in her roles as both a mother and a media personality. Jim Bob Duggar at risk. In a concerning twist, there are also reports suggesting that Jim Bob Duggar, Michelle's husband and the patriarch of the family, is facing his own health struggles. While no specific details have been shared about his condition, sources claim that Jim Bob's stress levels have spiked dramatically since Michelle's hospitalization. As the head of the Duggar family, Jim Bob has always been involved in both the personal and financial affairs of the family, and the strain of Michelle's health crisis is evidently taking a toll on him. There are rumors circulating that Jim Bob might be at risk for health complications of his own, possibly related to the immense emotional stress of dealing with Michelle's condition. This has only intensified the concerns of the Duggar family supporters. The couple's bond has always been one of the strongest elements of their public life, and the idea of them both facing health crises at the same time is deeply unsettling to their fans. A family in crisis. The Duggar family, known for its devout Christian values and close-knit family structure, is facing a turbulent and uncertain time. Michelle and Jim Bob have always been at the center of their family, and their children have consistently expressed deep admiration for their parents. This health scare is a stark reminder that even the most steadfast individuals are vulnerable to life's unpredictable challenges. As of now, Michelle remains hospitalized, and her family has expressed their gratitude for the prayers and well wishes from fans. However, the family is still dealing with the uncertainty of what the future holds for Michelle's recovery and how it will affect Jim Bob and the rest of the family. Their children, including their older sons and daughters, are reportedly by their side, providing support during this difficult time. What's next for the Duggar family? At this stage, there is little information about Michelle's prognosis or her road to recovery. Fans are anxiously awaiting updates, hoping for a positive outcome for Michelle and a swift return to health. Jim Bob, too, remains a figure of concern, with many hoping he finds the strength to support Michelle while also maintaining his own health. As the Duggar family navigates this crisis, it is clear that they are leaning on their faith and the strength of their family bond. Fans continue to send messages of support, hoping that both Michelle and Jim Bob will recover and find their way through this health scare together. For now, the Duggar family is in the spotlight for reasons that are much more somber than usual, and the world is watching, hoping for the best.